Type 1. The casual viewer. This person has seen Stranger Things, they enjoyed it. They might even tell you it's pretty good. That's the extent of their emotional investment. The casual viewer watches a season when it drops, maybe talks about it at work for 3 days, then moves on with their life like a psychopath. They think Eddie and Steve are the same person. They call Vecna the upside-down guy. To them, Stranger Things is just another show in the endless Netflix queue. They'll randomly ask, did they ever make more episodes? As if Netflix didn't just drop the most watched season in streaming history, they think the show ended after season 2. They're shocked to learn there are 9 seasons planned. There aren't, but they would believe you. Online behavior? Non-existent. They don't post about it. They don't engage. If they do share something, it's a 3-year-old meme they found on Facebook that says, "Justice for Barb." Maybe a confused comment on someone else's post like, "Wait, Hopper died?" Or "Finally starting Stranger Things." Typical quote, "I should finish that show." Type 2. The nostalgic addict. This fan doesn't watch Stranger Things for the plot. They watch it for the vibe. The nostalgia addict is here for every single 80s reference, Easter egg, and retro aesthetic moment the Duffer Brothers can cram into 8 hours of television. They lose their minds over the Ghostbusters Halloween costumes. They get emotional about the arcade. They've definitely said, "I was born in the wrong generation," at least once. They own a Camp Nowhere hat, despite never going to camp. The nostalgia addict will re-watch the entire series just to study Joyce's wallpaper. They'll spend $40 on a vintage Hawkins High hoodie. They'll cry over a Coca-Cola can if it's filmed in the right lighting. Online behavior? Their Instagram is a carefully curated mood board of 80s references, vintage filters, and Stranger Things screenshots captioned, "This show just hits different." They share Spotify playlists titled Hawkins Summer 1985 Vibes, with 47 followers. Typical quote, "Why was everyone just cooler in the 80s? Type 3. The theory crafter. The theory crafter doesn't watch Stranger Things. They solve it. This is the person writing 4,000-word Reddit posts titled, "Why Vecna is Actually Will's Father, a Timeline Analysis." They've watched every trailer frame by frame. They've somehow turned a 2-second background detail into a 40-minute YouTube video. These fans predicted Hopper was alive before season 4 dropped. They called Vecna's identity. They definitely had a theory about the Mind Flayer being connected to Hawkins' lab before it was canon. Were they right? Doesn't matter. They've already moved on to the next theory. They know every gate location. They've mapped the upside down. They've calculated how old each character should be versus how old they look because Netflix keeps stalling. Online behavior, r/Stranger Things is their kingdom. They write posts with titles like, "The Upside Down is actually a time loop, and here's why, evidence included." They argue in comment threads with the energy of a lawyer at trial. The theory crafter is the fandom's investigative journalist. Exhausting, but essential. Typical quote, "Did anyone else notice this in Season 2, Episode 5 at 14:37? Type 4. The emotional shipper. This fan is invested, not in the plot, in the characters. They ship people, aggressively. Steve and Nancy, Nancy and Jonathan, Steve and Eddie, Hopper and Joyce, Max and Lucas, Will and Mike. They have opinions, and they will defend them in the comment section. Their For You page is a constant stream of slow-mo edits with captions like "He deserved better" or "She's been through too much." They cry during every finale. They cry during episodes that aren't even sad. The emotional fan treats Stranger Things like a soap opera. They don't care about the Mind Flayer's origin story. They care about whether Mike told Elle he loved her enough times. Online behavior? TikTok is their battlefield. If you've ever seen a TikTok edit of Steve Harrington set to a Lana Del Rey song, you've witnessed the emotional fan in their natural habitat. They create edits with transitions smoother than anything you've ever seen, set to the most emotionally devastating songs possible. They write fan fiction. They make shipping charts. They have discourse about who deserves happiness. Typical quote: "If anything happens to Dustin, I'm suing Netflix. They deserved better." Type 5. The lore historian. The lore historian doesn't just watch Stranger Things, they study it. This is the fan who re-watches every season before a new one drops. Not for fun, for research. They take notes. They track character arcs. They remember which episode introduced the Demogorgon. They treat Stranger Things like the MCU, except somehow more complicated. Ask them a question about Hawkins' lab experiments. They'll give you a full breakdown with dates. Online behavior? The lore historian is the fandom's encyclopedia. They're the ones correcting people in YouTube comments. They're explaining why certain fan theories don't work based on Season 2. Episode 4, Dialogue. They're the reason the Stranger Things wiki exists and is somehow 10,000 pages long. They don't gatekeep, but they will lecture you if you say something lore inaccurate. Typical quote: "This was answered 3 seasons ago." Type 6. The meme scientist. The meme scientist is responsible for approximately 90% of Stranger Things' cultural impact. These are the people who turned Chrissy, "Wake Up," into a sound that haunted TikTok for 6 months. They made Eddie Munson a folk hero before his character arc even finished. They transformed Vecna into a reaction image. They took Kate Bush's "Running Up That Hill" and turned it into the soundtrack of an entire summer. The meme scientist doesn't watch Stranger Things for the story. They watch it for content. Every scene is potential material. Every line of dialogue is a future audio clip. They're 3 steps ahead, already thinking about how a moment will play in meme format. Steve's hair? Meme. Hopper's shirts? Meme. Dustin's "She's our friend and she's crazy" line? Instant classic. Online behavior? Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Reddit. Wherever memes live, they're there. They understand timing, trends, and what will hit. They're the fandom's marketing team, except they work for free and in reaction images. Typical quote: "This is getting screenshotted as we speak." Type 7. The ultra fan, final form. The final boss of the Stranger Things fandom. This person has seen every episode multiple times. They own every piece of official merch and the unofficial stuff. They know the cast's birthdays. They've been to Stranger Things events, probably stood in line for hours. Definitely cried meeting Gaten Matarazzo. Online behavior, they're everywhere. The ultra fan doesn't just consume Stranger Things content. They create the fandom. They run fan accounts with 100,000 followers. They've built Hawkins in Minecraft. To the ultra fan, Hawkins is real. The Upside Down is real. Typical quote: "Hawkins is basically a real place at this point. I've watched this episode 11 times, trust me."